Welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We have a jam-packed day today. Are you ladies ready?
Whew,
Ready.
Ready,
I
set,
hope
can
you
be.
guys are
Here
ready
we
out
go.
there because we're going to talk a little bit about a COVID loyalty program, but we have a very entertaining guest coming up in segment 2, 3, and 4, and he is pretty much knowledgeable on any subject that you ask him about. So it's going to be Bob Wheeler, and he'll be coming up in our next segment. But let's get right to it. Yesterday, we were contacted by one of our viewers. They had a concern. You know, we've all heard about the Krispy Kreme donut, right?
Right.
So you get a free donut if you get a vaccine. Now, what an incentive, right?
Yeah.
So you just add to your waistline along with getting the poison in your arm. But let's put all that aside. What would you do if you worked at a job and they came up to you and said, hey, if you got your vaccine, we'll give you $1,500. Now, if you're in a depressed economy, that's very enticing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Extremely.
And almost immoral, in my opinion.
Almost? I'm sorry. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna, let's take the word almost out.
So- Let's give a little bit of background. We got an email from one of our viewers in the Newtown area, and their school district is giving anyone who had the vaccine before March 23rd gets $1,500. Now that's $1,500 of federal money that's going to, they call it a loyalty program. So anyway, digging a little bit further, if you didn't get the vaccine by March 23rd, but if you get it by May 15th, you get $500.
Cha-ching.
So what they did is they tried to encourage people to go ahead and get the vaccine and pay you $1,500. Let me show you the letter from the school board, or excuse me, from the superintendent. Number 4, the board recognizes the loyalty of those you have already gotten vaccinated. If you received at least one COVID-19 vaccination by March 23rd, you'll be receiving a $1,500 check, pocket after taxes, loyalty check. Thank you for protecting yourself and others. And then number 5 goes on to say, those that receive the vaccination by May 15th will receive $500 in pocket after taxes, loyalty payment. Thank you in advance for getting vaccinated. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for all you do for the kids. And it is signed by the superintendent, Beth Zeitz. Now, we did talk to Beth yesterday. Patty and I were both kind of tag teaming on this story, and she did call us back. And do you want to take it from there, Patty?
Well, it's coming from federal money. We wondered where's this money coming from, and the idea is, and I get it that not everybody agrees with us, but they see this as for the health and safety of the community. But you know, what is this going to do for employees? Some people get $1,500, some only get $500, some get nothing if they don't feel they want the vaccination. You know, I just see this as coercive and arm twisting. And, you know, she was very positive about it, but I think very quickly she kind of quieted down
Right,
and didn't want to
because
give us a lot of information.
At first, she said, and in fact, we have this quote. This is exactly what she said. This isn't taxpayer money, it's federal money.
Oh my,
That was
where
her
do we
in-
get federal money from?
So where is federal money?
I don't get that.
Yeah, where does it come from?
I'm pretty sure that Washington just
No,
sends
no,
it out just
That's,
free and
That's
clear.
the money that grows on trees that we've always
Yeah,
heard about.
oh sure,
Oh,
absolutely.
Shoot,
I
I wonder
know.
if there's a federal orchard or a federal tree grove somewhere.
Federal printing press is what they think it
It's
comes
called-
from.
Well,
It's
you know,
called
though, I
bribe
hear
money,
that.
right?
I hear that
Yeah.
from a lot of people, though. And I wish there was a bill that would come before our legislature and we could start it for the whole country. If any of the funding for anything involves the word free and it's government funding, you cannot use the word free. It is illegal because so many taxpayers don't understand. Oh, we got a grant. Oh, really? Where did the grant come from? Oh, it came from the Department of whatever. Well, where did they get that money? Oh, I guess I never thought about this is what you're paying for,
Bingo.
people. And people don't stop to think about that. And our money goes so many places we have no idea, and then we get told it's free. Get your free shot. Get your free this. Get your free that. It's never free.
And your taxes always go down. They
Yeah,
right? They always
right.
go down.
But I am confused now. You said that this happened, was it just offered to teachers and
No,
administrators?
it was offered to the entire staff, so it includes the janitors, the cooks, anyone within the
Bus drivers too then? maybe?
Maybe it's
I would.
anybody employed by the school district. So I don't know. Are bus drivers employed by the school
Yes,
district?
yes.
Then
Well,
And
I don't know.
In
And I
different
do have a
communities, they are.
phone call to the school board president, because I did do a little bit of homework. So I went ahead and I called the North Dakota School Board Association, and I talked to legal counsel Amy DeCook, and she said she couldn't answer that question, that she would refer me to Alexis Baxley, who is the executive director of the North Dakota School Board Association. And she said she can't comment on regulatory issues. But Amy did say, the legal counsel did say they can compensate teachers in a variety of different ways. And so it was the school board that voted on this and passed it. I then contacted an attorney, Mike Geierman, but he says he represents teachers only and can't comment. So I wonder if he might get a few new clients, because think about it. If you don't want to get that vaccine and the teacher sitting next to you gets $1,500, but you don't believe in the vaccine, why reward one teacher? If that teacher is an excellent teacher, why wouldn't she get the loyalty bonus? She's loyal to your school, isn't she?
that's disturbing to me that they
Yes.
call it a loyalty program.
loyalty
that is really
reward.
disturbing.
That sounds like,
But
oh,
I-
you're going to shut
Yes.
your mouth
The other
and not
people
say
aren't
anything
loyal.
to be loyal to whatever.
Well, I mean, just think about it. I know of a case where someone worked within a health community, and they didn't want to get the vaccine. They just had made that choice. They were a younger person, and then they were told, you may not be able to work here if you don't get that vaccine. Well, as an employee that's making good money, and then you go, I don't know, could I lose my job? And what if and then her comment to me was, I'm afraid everybody in the office will hate me now because I'm not going to get it, and I think I'm the only one. Well, I wonder what that does to the morale of the teachers and the administrators when you feel like you're forced, or else you're going to be an outcast. And the other thing, I watched a Department of Health thing that they were part of this Greater North Dakota Chamber presentation for the third package from the federal government. And
Third
the
Reich?
Department of Health was saying, incentivize your employees. Incentivize your employees to get the vaccine. That's your business best practices slide.
That's
It was right
bribery.
there.
They're doing
and
the same
so
thing with
Newtown's
colleges.
not doing anything that the Department of Health of our state isn't recommending. And I think that's wrong. I think that's very wrong.
And this is important too. We said, well, is there something they have to sign? Is there a release of information or a release of obligation? What if they get sick? What if they die? What if something bad happens as a result of the vaccine? Who's responsible? And the superintendent said they don't have to sign anything. They just get the money when they show the card.
Right,
They
and
got
she
the
said,
card.
well, the vaccine manufacturers would be liable. But I have news for everybody. No,
They
the
have no
vaccine,
liability.
they are
Nobody's
not
liable.
They're not
They
liable
haven't
for
been
it.
liable since 1986.
And
Exactly.
if you say you're on the line and you're not sure, and your budget's a little tight, and you've got mouths to feed at home, and you're offered $1,500 or $500, and I would think the ones that only get $500 would resent the ones that got $1,500. There's just a lot of bad parts to this plan to create animosity within staff.
Right. So I just want you to know, I do have a phone call in to the president of the school board, and he was going to get back to me this afternoon, but he didn't get back to me in time for the taping. So we'll give you an update as soon as we have one, but we'll be right back after this with our guest, Bob Wheeler, and don't go away. It's going to be fun. Hang on.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
Beck Communications is now hiring independent sales agents around the state. We're looking for highly motivated individuals to take advantage of this opportunity, selling advertising for our news and sports programming on Beck TV and sponsorships for the Bismarck Bucks indoor football team. Independent sales agents will make 50% commission on their completed sales for all products. Beck TV is the leader in broadcasting local sports, owner of the Bismarck Bucks indoor football team, and originator of newly launched news opinion programming. Submit your application now at careers@bechtel.coop. This is an exciting opportunity you can't pass up. 50% commission for independent sales agents now hiring at Beck Communications.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We decided sometimes we need another view beside the ladies of Another View, so who would we call but Bob Wheeler? Anyway, Bob dabbles a little bit in farming and ranching, and his wife and her son owns a ranch, and you're also kind of a political activist in a way.
Struggling to find a spot to fit in.
There you go.
The old jack of all trades, master of none thing fits me quite well.
Well, then you're going to fit in really well here, because that sums us up pretty much. But we're so glad that you're here, because I know you're so passionate about so many different topics. One of the ones that's kind of hitting us hard right now is the Second Amendment and gun rights. So, horrible shooting in Boulder, Colorado.
You know, these shootings seem to happen at a hand-picked time, if we look back through history here. They're a little too coincidental for me. I'm starting to not believe in coincidence, okay? There's a political push. This political push isn't anything new, okay? The Second Amendment has probably been in trouble since day one, okay? I'm a big fan of the Founding Fathers. The only word that I think they ever used incorrectly was, well, they messed up by using militia in the Second Amendment, because that confused everything for a lot of people, okay? That's the tool that the left uses to try to say that you and I don't have the right to keep and bear arms, okay? You can use the tired old line that people on the left get tired of hearing us say it, but a good man or woman with a gun will prevent all of this. And it generally is true, okay? I don't believe in having a permit to carry a firearm. I don't believe in asking the government for permission to carry a firearm. And they have pushed that to where everybody thinks that they have to have permission. Colorado has been a prime place for these shootings.
It sure has. It's a lot of major, you hate to say it, but mass shootings happen in Colorado.
The general consensus in the state has changed in Colorado so much, where it has moved so far left from being an agricultural, rural state for most of its life, and it has turned so far left in the last 20 years, we'll call it, that I think that's part of it, that the individuals that are there, the individuals across this country are forgetting that we have rights that the government is not allowed to touch, okay? But the states seem to be giving those rights up as we go. And I think that breeds what happened in Colorado.
Sure. I just want to pop this up on the screen about the killer. Okay, he wasn't stopped by Colorado's universal background check. He wasn't stopped by Colorado's red flag gun confiscation law. He wasn't stopped by Colorado's high-capacity magazine ban law. He wasn't stopped by Boulder's city ban on assault weapons. He wasn't stopped by passing gun control grade from Gifford's gun control group. Killers don't obey gun control laws. They kill. Gun control is about controlling the law-abiding citizen. Does that pretty much sum it up?
That sums it up exactly.
Yep.
I follow the law, okay? Because I'm not a bad guy, I'm not a criminal. I wear a black hat. Okay, we talked about this on Facebook Live a while back. It was time to make sure that we all start wearing the black hat and stand up and be a little tougher about things. But the law-abiding citizen is only going to become a criminal when they start doing what they're doing right now. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, with their ruling yesterday, they are going to start creating outlaws.
So tell us what happened yesterday with the Ninth Circuit
From what
Court.
I've heard so far is the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is probably the most liberal, left-leaning court in the country, ruled yesterday that we no longer have a right to keep and bear arms. We no longer have the right to carry a firearm, and I believe they're trying to go as far as to say we don't have the right to own one. Well, that's a direct violation of the Second Amendment. The Bill of Rights was very, very clear on this particular issue. I'm a fan of the way it was written. I believe I should have a F-18. If the government has an F-18, I should be able to have an F-18. But now this Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, in their infinite wisdom, that we really shouldn't be allowed to have a firearm of any kind. They are the most overturned court in the land, okay? By the time it gets to the Supreme Court, they get stopped.
See, and
But-
it's just a waste of taxpayer money to fight against these things that it's already set in stone. It's our Second Amendment right, but these courts keep doing it, and that's, again, waste of taxpayer money.
People seem to have the impression that the Bill of Rights or the Constitution is freedoms and rights granted by the government. No, those are rights and freedoms and a system set up by the people to tell the government what they can and can't do. Not the reverse. It is up to us. It is our Bill of Rights. It's not the government's Bill of Rights. It is not the government's Constitution. It's our job. And I can't blame the government. If they're going to take advantage of us not standing up and sticking up for our rights, we deserve to lose them. But it is in our power as an individual citizen to stand up and say, this says it quite clearly in the Bill of Rights that that is my right. It's a God-given right. But if we sit back and don't do anything about it, they're going to take, and they will continue to take. And the
It's a
Second
slippery
Amendment
slope.
is first. And if we lose that, you can kiss the rest goodbye, ladies. And this is a very serious, passionate thing for me. And I could try to throw numbers out to you, okay? I've got a good friend who's really good with the numbers. Numbers are good only if I'm trying to have an argument with another conservative or a Republican. They don't do any good if I'm trying to convince somebody on the left because they don't think that way.
Well, they use different statistics.
They can find their own
You know,
numbers.
it's like, I'm going to use these numbers over here that don't really apply, but, you know, we're not going to listen to any of your numbers.
Right.
And a militia is there not to be a radical group of anything. A militia is a group of individuals that own a gun, that gather together with like mind to stop a government who has become tyrannical. No further than that. I mean, that's the only definition that you need. You know, because if we're all going to gather together because our government is trying to take away our rights and is being tyrannical, that's what that's exactly put there for.
I avoid the word militia and everything other than the Second Amendment. You know, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Okay, that is where it's important, right?
Yes.
The rights of the people shall not be infringed. Okay, but I don't, because of the word militia and the way it is misconstrued, I avoid it. And groups that want me to be involved with them, I run from that type of a group because it does tend to bring out some of the crazies. Okay, I'll be honest with you, until people understand the true meaning of that word.
Well, because they confuse militia with militant.
Militant, there you go.
And that's the whole misnomer
Absolutely.
there.
Right, right.
Yep.
And I read, it was one of the Carolinas, I think. I want to say North Carolina, maybe it was South. But they had a state senator that said he was going to propose a law that any gun owner become a member of, term it a militia, so then they can't arrest and take away the guns from the militia of a state. And I thought, well, that's a kind of a interesting workaround, you know?
Well, we're going to have to play that game eventually. I mean, we're blessed in North Dakota to a point. Okay, we've got some decent legislation this year that is trying to protect it more and more. I've done kind of an info drop on bills in the last couple of weeks. Kind of got overwhelmed there for a while, so I'm not sure the numbers and what's going on. Most of our representatives are doing a pretty good job protecting and honoring that right. Not all, most. We can't let up on our representatives here in Bismarck. We have to make sure that they continue to protect that right. Nationally, I'm not so sure that we're represented as well as we need to be on the Second Amendment. North Dakota hasn't always been represented that well in Washington from our delegation. I'd like to believe that we are, but I just encourage everyone out there, all of you, to email, call, get in touch with those 3 gentlemen in Washington, D.C. that are representing North Dakota.
Absolutely.
Each and every one of you, please do it.
Okay, you heard it right here from the boss, and it's so true. You know, because if they don't know what you want, and it seems like the conservatives never speak up. We have to start speaking up, or our rights are going to be taken away. But we're going to have more after this with Bob Wheeler. We have so many more topics, but stay with us. We'll be right back on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Indoor football is back in Bismarck. Bucks football season is right around the corner. Grab a friend or family member for a night of action-packed, hard-hitting entertainment. The Bucks open at the Bismarck Event Center May 8th as they take on the Massachusetts Pirates. Catch the sweetest seats in the house right on the sidelines with VIP service at a Bucks turf table. Available now for single-game purchases. Secure your tickets today by calling 701-595-0771. Bucks football, half the field and double the fun.
At Beck Communications, we've been planning for your future. Over the past decade, we've placed nearly 200,000 miles of dedicated fiber optics in the ground. Enough fiber optic strands to circle the world 8 times. Taking no shortcuts, we connected every home and business in our service area with dedicated fiber optics. It's your personal, unrestricted, unthrottled connection to the world. Best of all, this dedicated fiber means you do not share your connection. We call this intimate dedicated connection Beck Fiber.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car!
How will we?
The car! Your offer's been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing.
But how will we?
The closing!
Beck News brings you real people and real news. Every weekday on KNDB, KNDM, and KRDK. Start your evening with the Dr. Duke Show at 4. Take a fresh look at current events with Ladies of Another View at 4:30. Go down the road with Joel at 5:30. Watch No Apologies with Becker at 9. Cap off your night with No Filter with Debbie at 10. Beck News. Real people, real news.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. You know, I should apologize to all of you because I didn't have Bob tell us a little bit about himself. We all know Bob here, and he's a friend of ours, and very passionate about so many things going on up on the hill. And so, Bob, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'll do it the way I do it on a Facebook Live. You know, I start that pretty much every time. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Bob Wheeler. I'm from Underwood, North Dakota, Central North Dakota, former candidate for District 8 House of Representatives. And I started doing that and it was candidate for House of Representatives in District 8 up until it wasn't, right? And I started doing Facebook Lives using social media for the campaign. We had a pandemic, a scamdemic, a plandemic going on, so social media was an easy way to reach out and tell everyone that I was there, you know, without making anyone feel uncomfortable by knocking on their door. Not that I was worried about it, but yet we had enough folks that were scared at the time. So it just fit in. My wife and I moved down to Underwood in 2011, late 2011. We came from Tioga. I'm originally, honestly, a Montanan. I was raised in southeastern Montana. And met my wife. You can't move land west, so I moved east and became a North Dakotan again. I was born in Fargo, left there in that area when I was 4, type thing. And I got burnt out on the oil field, quite honestly. I had had enough of the noise and the people and the traffic and the job at that point in time. And we were fortunate enough that we found a little place, 160 acres in rural Underwood. And we've made our home there since then. So.
But your wife farms a little bit
My wife and her son still farm together up in Tioga.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
She technically retired, but she'll never slow down, so she's getting ready. I'm sure seeds will go in the ground around the 1st of April, so she'll go up and start hauling anhydrous tanks or whatever, whatever her son needs. You know, she just loves it.
Awesome. Well, I first met you during the last legislative session regarding private property rights. That was passionate, and
it still is.
And it still is, and they're still working on that.
Yep.
You know, it's been frustrating. But let's get back to, we were talking about Colorado, and I want to put up the photo of the 10 victims of the Boulder shooting. God rest their souls. You know, it's just a sad day. But the media, what's frustrating for me right now is the media is silent. It was a Muslim individual from Syria that went in and shot those 10 people, 10 white people. Now, if that would have been a white man that shot 10 black people or 10 Asian people or 10, name any race you want, it would be all over the news as a hate crime, a racial hate crime. In this case, it's just another day in a mass shooting.
But you know what? Can I just add something to that? Kamala Harris's niece immediately tweeted, and I quote, "Violent white men are the greatest terrorist threat." She did take it down after it came out who the shooter was, but immediately, and there were all kinds of people in that camp that were posting about white supremacy, white everything, whiteness kills, I mean, all the stuff. Michael Moore, they voted his the worst tweet of any tweet. He said, "The life of Ahmed Aliwi Alina," I don't know if I'm saying it right, probably not.
It's not Joe Johnson.
It's not Joe Johnson. Shows that people can come from all over the world and truly assimilate into our beloved American culture.
What?
Tell me how much Michael Moore loves America. Tell me how much he looks at how great this country is. It makes me sick. It just makes me sick. I don't know if he ever took it down. I didn't see that. And then Facebook took down the profile of this shooter after he shot everybody. But it got to stay up there, and he was busy talking about how he hated this, hated that, hated Trump, couldn't get a girlfriend, all the stuff. And they knew he was a loose cannon, but they let him keep posting. Why is that?
Yeah. You know, I've heard that the mental health community is the one that's supposed to go in and save everybody now because we're defunding all the police departments and stuff. But even if you take all of that at its face value, that can't happen. They already have all the gun registration. So they're already doing background checks. They were doing all of the things that they're supposed to do in Colorado. Yet this still happens. They keep saying they could prevent all these shootings if they just do this or if they just do that.
Nope.
An evil person is an evil person is an evil person. And if you look at statistics, there aren't that many differences in the numbers of mass shootings long ago and mass shootings now. It's the people and the notoriety that they're trying to get.
And social media is so easy. You know,
there's your
back in the day,
notoriety.
we had 3 channels growing up, but now everything is instant. Everybody has a phone. But getting back to that shooting, if any one of those people had a gun, a concealed carry or an open carry, he wouldn't have got 10 people.
That's right.
Exactly.
You have to be willing to use it, not just carry it. It is going to take a special individual, okay? Training helps, okay? But just buying one and carrying one, no. Okay, I'll disagree just a little bit there.
Right.
The sentiment is right. But it's going to take a special individual. A few years ago with that Texas church shooting, okay, the individual that stopped that shooter with an AR-15, he had the training, he had the background, he was willing to use it, okay? So it does take a little bit more than that. Well, going back just a little bit, Jen, free will. Even God knew he couldn't regulate free will, okay? And our politicians and the left-leaning liberals that are trying to regulate free will, you can't do it. You can't regulate people's hearts.
Exactly.
You can't stop these things. You can't prevent them that way. We can minimize them by encouraging more good, solid people, citizens, to do what's right and not be scared to do what's right. Blowing up the left's narrative is easy, honestly, because it's the same old tired deal. It's automatically going to be an old angry white man that does a shooting or something like that. Has throughout history, has there been some white people that have messed up? Yeah. Okay. Has there been some dark-skinned people that have messed up? Yeah. But the narrative that it's old white men or young white men that are causing these things I'm tired of it. We should all be tired of it. It's not working. It's only the only people buying that are the left.
See, and that kind of takes us right into our next subject, the First Amendment and the cancel culture and the freedom of speech and how you can't even say, as a white man sitting there, you have a hard time defending a white man.
I'm a minority now, but I'm not supposed to say that because I'm a white straight male in North Dakota.
Super straight is the new word, by the way, and that's a whole other topic.
Oh yeah, super straight. That's the newest topic for it. Or the newest term.
You know, perfect example is this shooter's profile was up on Facebook. Okay, the information finally came out that he was who he was. I shared it. I got a 30-day ban for it on Facebook. Social media caught that I put it out, the information was true, this gentleman was who he was. I ended up contesting it, and Facebook actually listened for once. It doesn't happen that way very often. And now I've still got 20 hours banned. I'm still out. But it's all cancel culture, free speech. The big technocrats, which we're at home with that in North Dakota anymore, we're ruled by some. Technology and the freedom of speech is completely under attack, and they're controlling it. Look at President, I'm not going to say former President, President Trump was censored on Twitter. They lost his account, all this good stuff.
Yes.
If they can't beat you legitimately, they're going to try to erase you. And they've been erasing statues in our history. Dr. Seuss, okay? Yeah. But they can have that crazy commercial, that music, that rap music, and have those videos. But we're canceling Dr. Seuss. Weren't the book burners the bad guys way back in history? Weren't they wearing swastikas or something on their arms? But we're okay. I'll steal one of theirs. We're going to circle back. We're circling back to becoming. We're going to ban things. This doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
Dr. Seuss?
Yes.
You know, my right or your right to speak up and stand up. I mean, that's been one of my missions for the last year, is to ask people, to encourage people to please stand up.
And we have to start. We honestly have to start. It's kind of funny when you talk about cancel culture. I had college kids home for spring break, and they would say, "Shut up! You're going to get canceled." And that's how they speak nowadays. It's like, you're not to me. They would tell each other. It's like they had no opinion. And they said, you can't say that. Shut up. You can't say that. You're going to get canceled. But anyway, we have so much more to talk about. And Bob's going to stick around. And you're going to learn a lot more after these messages on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We're visiting with Bob Wheeler, or maybe we could call him Trader Jack, you know? Jack of all trades, Trader Jack. You think I could make that stick right now? I could. It might. Okay, well, we'll call you Bob for now. Anyway, so we were talking about cancel culture and super straight and gun laws. I mean, we cover it all here. We're going to just kind of open up the doors here for anything you want to visit about. We could talk about vaccines, we could talk about the election, we could talk about Luke Simons, there's so many things that we're going to let you pick your favorite subject.
You should never have to worry about running about topics for your show, ladies.
Oh,
honestly,
we don't.
Because
We
the
have
North
lots of
Dakota
them.
legislature alone provides enough. Well, I caught one of your shows the other day about the fourth trimester California bill.
Isn't
things
that
like
crazy?
It's insanity.
Yeah.
Some of the things that I've been doing in the last year, the most important things to me is waking people up. So many people feel helpless out there. They feel like they don't have a voice. It's that emotional for me, right? Sorry. Each and every one of us can do something in this state, okay? We don't have to run for office. We don't have to run for governor. We don't have to run for the House of Representatives. Get involved in your school boards. Get involved in your city councils, the county commissioner seats. Some places are begging for people to get involved. I don't care if it's the park board. It is our duty, it is our civic duty to have a voice. we talk about this little experiment in self-government. It's not going to work unless everybody gets involved. And I don't, if you're 18 and you're legal to vote, get involved. And I don't care if you disagree with me. I'm begging you to do it. You can be on the other side, complete opposites of me. If you want to make a difference, get involved. And it's pretty easy. Get involved with your districts. Learn where your vote counts the most, where your voice can be heard the most. Use a social media account. Start talking about politics and whatever's near and dear to you in a humane, I'll almost call it, manner. Bring politics back to your Easter dining room table. Bring it back to your Thanksgiving table. And learn to talk about politics, talk about what's going on in our world, current events, in a humane manner.
In a civil way.
Civil way.
Yes, have a discussion like we used to be able to.
It doesn't have, bring the dining room table back to your lives, ladies and gentlemen. I grew up in a home where there was 4 siblings, mom and dad. I know that the world has changed. Okay, I do understand that. 2 incomes in the household is necessary, it seems like. We're all trying to keep up with the Joneses. But We had to do our homework at the dining room table. We had to clear it to have dinner, and we had to go back to doing our homework. Mom and Dad helped us with our homework at the dining room table. We had breakfast at the dining room table. Even if you only get to do that 1 or 2 times a week with your family, even if it's just your spouse, maybe you don't have children, have a meal or 2 at the dining room table. Don't do it in front of the television. Throw away those coffee tables or whatever you got for those trays, right? Bring back the dining room table, shut off the distractions, shut off the phone, okay? It's starting to be a new rule. My wife and I were trying to remember to put them away at least for a meal, okay? And that's the most important thing we can do. Our children, grandchildren, okay, that's where I'm at. Okay, I've got 6 little grandkids. And the most important thing, why I'm involved with politics, why I'm here visiting with you guys, is for those 6 little children from 12 to 8 to not have to get as passionate as I am. Okay, maybe they won't have to worry in 8 or 10 years if we do our job now. You know, that's the best thing I can say to all of you.
But we're on the precipice. Do you not agree? I mean, we are at the point now where if we don't start stepping up, we have a lot to lose.
If we don't continue to step up.
Okay,
People are
fair.
awake. Take the Luke
They are
Simon
waking,
situation
yes.
where due process lost, and that's what lost. That fired up an awful lot of people, okay? And stay fired up, stay involved.
See, that's just it. And nobody here, we're not judging. I mean, we all know who he is. We're not saying he was right or he was wrong. But he deserved due process.
Yes.
And that's what we're saying. Everybody deserves due process.
And that didn't happen.
No,
But then, aren't they saying that due process, this is what I think that's what I understood. Due process involves life, liberty, property, and your job as a legislator is not considered your property, and therefore they can skirt due process.
That's a spin.
That's what I
That's an
thought. It's like,
excuse.
no, it doesn't wash for me.
Well, due process would also include an investigation. And if they did an investigation on him, the fan would start to open up and spread.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
don't you think now that this happened, aren't there people maybe shaking in their boots that maybe their little files might be opened?
Well, it's a possibility, but since they never went in and did an investigation, they're thinking maybe since they got this to just go through without it, that they maybe aren't going to be investigated. Investigations don't happen. We just got by without doing one now.
But they will tell you they did investigate, and it's like, no.
No. They
And
listened
there
to the
was no
hearsay
due
of some
process. There
people.
was no. It was a sham, as far as I
It's an
was
embarrassment.
In the balcony of that House of Representatives that day for that vote. The first time in my life that I was there to watch the process, at least at that level, right? And I was ashamed.
Yep.
I don't wear masks. I'm not going to wear a mask. That's one of the 5th time since this pandemic, scamdemic started. And I didn't have one, and I reached in the back seat and I found a brand new dish towel that my wife had embroidered on. I had this big white dish towel just so I could get in, and it was worth it to me. I hate them. I'm completely against these masks, but it was worth it to me to get in there to just make sure that I was able to watch history unfold and hope against hope, because I knew what the vote was going to be. I was almost positive, sadly. And I wore that mask just so I could watch 69 individuals throw away so much for what we believe in North Dakota.
Yeah.
So much of what many of us have been fighting for years. I'm a former Marine, okay? That kangaroo court goes against everything I've ever believed in and what I've been taught all my life. Yeah. It may not fit into the parameters of due process, but I would think that each and every individual involved in that would want better treatment than what they gave former Representative Simons. At least the situation, I'm not sticking up for the man. I'm sticking up for what should be done correctly.
Right.
And it wasn't. And it's a travesty. And North Dakota has to wear that now. We have to wear that. And I don't see a clear path to correct that at this point.
And the door that got opened because of the precedent that they set by the way they did this one, I say you better hold on to your hats, boys and girls, because it's going to get uglier because of the
Slippery slope.
precedent that you set. They're going to come. They're going to come, and it's going to get nasty.
How many people were ready to run for an office, but now are second guessing themselves?
Yep.
I'm not. I'm still going to run again. I can't say which, when, why, where, how, but I'm still going to do it. That doesn't scare me because we've got to fix it somehow. But how many people decided on that case that, there's no hope anymore?
Yeah, that's too bad. I know you did, we only have a couple minutes left, and you did touch a little bit on masks and how you're not a mask wearer. I understand you recently changed doctors.
Yeah, I did. I took a different route. I was somewhat forced to. I don't care for doctors anyway. Okay, I'm typical.
Well, they're there to help. I mean,
they've got a job.
Doctors.
Don't get me wrong. It's not against what they do. It's just that I don't care to go. I'd rather not do it. And I went to see my doctor, and I had been basically informed that I wasn't going to have to wear my mask. Sat in the waiting room without a mask. Went to get into the visiting room, and the nurse said, "Well, I need you to put your mask on." I said, "I don't wear a mask." It was the same doctor's office that had diagnosed me with allergy-induced asthma. You can't breathe with those masks on. And she left without a fight. I wasn't fighting. I just said, "Well, if you don't want that way, I'll leave." My doctor came in and gave me a hard time. Said, "Well, put your mask on." Quit giving my nurses a hard time. And I says, "I don't wear a mask. I haven't worn a mask. I'm not going to wear a mask." Excuse me. And she says, "You've got to put your mask on." And I says, "No, I don't." And I left. I walked out. I don't know if I got a bill. I hope not. And a friend of mine reached out to me, a different type of doctor, and I got in to see them, and I've been going forward ever since, and I'm getting treated without some medication. I'm getting treated without hostility, and I haven't worn a mask. So,
Wonderful.
That alternative is out there, and I'm glad it happened the way it did. I'm not holding it against them. If you want to wear a mask, please wear your mask.
Sure.
Whatever makes you feel good.
Right.
Because that's all it is to me. It's a feel-good thing. I don't believe it's helping anybody anywhere. It's my choice to not wear it.
Right.
And it's my choice to not go to those places that require them.
Sure.
I'm not going to cause a fight.
Well, hey, Bob, we appreciate all of the information that you brought with today. We really appreciate it. You've been a delightful guest.
Yes, you have.
You'll have
and
to
we
come
hope
back.
you come back. Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you,
right.
ladies. It was a lot
Thank
of
you.
fun.
And we'll be right back on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's Hot Dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Indoor football is back in Bismarck. Bucks football season is right around the corner. Grab a friend or family member for a night of action-packed, hard-hitting entertainment. The Bucks open at the Bismarck Event Center May 8th as they take on the Massachusetts Pirates. Catch the sweetest seats in the house right on the sidelines with VIP service at a Bucks turf table. Available now for single-game purchases. Secure your tickets today by calling 701-595-0771. Bucks football, half the field and double the fun.
Beck Communications is hiring. Beck Communications is seeking qualified candidates for plant technicians in our Wheatland, North Dakota location. Beck Communications is an equal opportunity employer. To view the job details, visit www.beck.coop. To apply, email your cover letter and resume to careers@bechtel.coop. Beck Communications, making connections that matter.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. Isn't Bob an interesting fellow?
What a dear.
Trader Jack, that's what we're going to call him. You guys can call him that if you see him. Jack of all trades. But this comes to the lighter side right now. And I found this fun video of this squirrel, this poor squirrel. I'll let you take a peek at it. Here's this man. This squirrel comes up to him on the sidewalk, and he's trying to water this squirrel.
Holding his hand, huh?
And so
oh my gosh.
my first thing is, was it someone's pet that got away? I mean, it's obvious, or maybe it's just dehydrated and it's...
Well, I've seen koala bears in Australia after a fire that will walk up to the rangers and let them give them water as well. So
really,
it does look like a pet though.
When I was in grade school, I had a friend who trained an outdoor squirrel to eat nuts from her hand.
So we had one when I was growing up too. We had a fence post that we'd put peanuts on it, and it would come right up there and eat them.
Oh, look at him!
Isn't that?
Oh, he's got to be a pet.
It's got to be.
Well, my son-in-law swears he wants a pet squirrel, but my daughter won't let him.
I would be a little bit afraid. So anyway, when I see the squirrel, I always think of the Clark Griswold movie Christmas Vacation. The squirrel. When my nephew was little, it's my nephew John. He would go to my mom's house and it's like, can we watch that squirrel movie? And my mom's like, squirrel movie. And she couldn't understand. He was like 3, 4, 5 years old. What squirrel movie? And he, well, you know, the one in the tree, and then the fire. And it's like, so anyway, it was the Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon Christmas Vacation.
Chevy Chase.
Because those squirrels can cause a mess. They
Oh
really
my gosh,
can.
they can come down in your fireplace. I have a friend who in Bismarck who one came down in their chimney.
Yeah.
Because they'll look down, and we had two different squirrels. One that got in one side of her house in the attic, and we would hear boom, boom, boom. I could hear gnawing. So we put a trap up there, because every time I went up in the attic, there was nothing there. Finally, one day we heard bang, 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 and it got stuck in the trap. So we let it go out by the river. But just a couple months ago, on the other side of the house, I could hear gnawing again. It's like, oh no, it's happening again. And it was starting to come through the ceiling.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought, okay, we got to do something. Because I'd scare it away, but then it would come back. So we cut off the branches where it was obviously climbing into the attic from under the roof. So look out. They may be cute, but you don't want them eating up your ceiling.
It's just a rat with a bigger tail to me.
Yeah, right.
And they eat all our bird feed, so we have to scare them away from there.
Right.
So not a fan. I know there's some people I know in Minneapolis that have them in their roof all the time, and they get exterminators to get them out. And as soon as that bunch is gone, another family tries to move in. They dig right through the patches.
Right.
It's bad stuff.
Yeah, they gnaw.
Yep.
Yeah. So they'll gnaw through the wood, gnaw through the ceiling. Do they have branches maybe going into under the roof?
It's a 3-story home. I'm sure there's some trees around there somewhere.
Yeah,
but
how are they getting in?
Well, if they can get up the siding or on the roof and come in through the eaves is where they're gnawing through the eaves, and then they get into the attic, and then you hear that thing. It sounds like mice everywhere crawling around. And
so Jan does not want a pet squirrel, I can tell.
Nope. I mean, we did try it with an outdoor squirrel when I was a child, but it also bit my brother. So
I hear they have sharp teeth. Very
well, we
sharp.
called it Charlie, but we found out when it was pregnant we had to name it Charlene.
Charlene.
I just remember my dad, he was getting older, and he would sit at the kitchen table, and they had a big window, and there were bird feeders, but of course the squirrels always would attack the bird feeders. But he would every day be sitting there, and he had more entertainment out of watching squirrels and what they would do and how they would act. He'd cuss them because he didn't like the mess they made with all the feed, but he wanted to watch them every day.
So have you tried the bird feeder remedy for squirrels?
Yeah.
You put the slinky on there so they can't get up?
Yeah, we did try that.
Did it work for you?
I'm trying to remember. I think it did for a little bit, but then they figured it out somehow.
There are special bird feeders. Look at, and they will spin the squirrel around. They go down to get the feed, and they grab onto something, and then they just spin and spin and spin until they get so so dizzy they get thrown off.
Ooh, I can see.
Yeah, there are
Wouldn't
special
take long
birds.
for
The
me.
squirrel merry-go-round.
Yeah, now that would be entertaining, right?
I could see
But
PETA having a
wouldn't
problem
like it.
with that.
A
yeah.
little probably would.
Yeah.
I know, I used to be a former insurance adjuster, and I've seen the damage that a squirrel or a raccoon can do if you've been away. Say you have a lake cabin or something and a squirrel gets in there, it is a disaster. They will tear into everything, and a raccoon is just as bad.
Right?
So,
nastiness.
Anyway, we just have a minute left. You got a final thought?
I think that the raccoons are the evil ones.
They are. Do you
They,
know?
they'll eat your corn, Mary.
Yes, they do. We have a really good relocation program for raccoons.
I have a son that was attacked by a raccoon in Guatemala, a very dramatic story, and he actually got bit through his kneecap, and he wasn't the only person that ever got attacked. The raccoon's name was Loco, and he had to get the
For a very good reason.
rabies shot. But the #1 animal for rabies is raccoons. So
Really?
do not make friends with a raccoon. Be
I
careful.
thought it was skunks all the time when I was growing up.
They're wild animals, and you're not supposed to tame any of them.
Stick with dogs and cats, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings us to the
Goldfish.
end of this show. We appreciate you guys popping in and joining us, and we hope you join us again tomorrow. And we'll be here to share more information with Ladies of Another View on Back